Hello and welcome to our video pattern for the chunky mitts, which is available on Ravelry.com. The link will be below. This video is a full video pattern showing you how to make these lovely chunky mittens using seriously chunky metallics from Signet. What you will need is one ball of seriously chunky metallics. It's a 100-gram ball and it is approximately 48 meters in length. One ball will be enough to make one pair of seriously chunky mittens, and you will either need a size 10 hook or a size 9 hook. If you are making the medium to large adult size, you just need a size 10. If you're making small to medium adult size, you will just need the size 9 hook. One ball will make either one pair of adult large or one pair of adult small. You just adjust your hook size. So let's have a quick look at the pattern. So the pattern is just all on one A4 sheet. It is downloadable from Ravelry.com, but this video is for people who do struggle to follow written patterns. You will find as we go through the pattern, I will put the pattern information up on the screen because it's my goal to help you to learn to read patterns so that you can crochet till your heart's delight and don't have to rely on YouTube videos. Materials: we need one ball of Signet seriously chunky metallics, 100 grams, approximately 48 meters. We put the length in so that if you choose to use an alternative yarn, you know roughly what length of yarn you'll need. So don't just go by the yarn weight, actually look at the yarn length as well. Notions: this means equipment. So we'll need a 10mm hook for an adult medium to large or a 9mm hook for adult small to medium. In this video I will be making the small to medium. If there's any special stitches, they would be written here, and we do have the extended double crochet or an EDC, and this just tells you how we're going to make those, but I will explain that as we work through the pattern. And then you have your finished sizes. So a small to medium is approximately 16 centimeters by 9 centimeters. So that is, this is the 16 centimeters and this is 9 centimeters. And then you have your instructions. We're going to start with the left glove first, and then we'll go on to the right glove. So I like to find the center of my ball, and to do that I pull the outside strand out, put my fingers in at both ends, find the center, and then just pull it out. I'm going to tuck the outside strand under the ball band to keep it out of the way, and then I'm just going to pop that to one side. There's my center strand, nice and easy. So we're going to start by making your slip knot, and you want enough length to be able to weave that in at the end. Pop your slip knot onto your hook and pull it tight. Don't pull it tight so that you've got very little movement. You don't want it that tight on your hook, so we're going to loosen it off a bit. You want a hole, a gap, roughly that sort of size, so that the loop glides nicely along your hook. If you have it too tight, you'll be fighting to get the hook into the stitches and you won't enjoy the experience. So let's start with row 1. First of all, we're going to make 7 chain. There we go. So we count them like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now I like to work into the back bumps of my chain. So that's the ridges that you see on the other side. This is the front of your chain, this is the back of the chain, and I work into these loops, the bumps. So we are going to make a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So this is chain 1, this one here is chain 2. So that's my first stitch, and then we are going to put a double crochet in each of the other chains. So that's 5 in total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That's the end of row 1, and you should have 6 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 on the end here. So these are the tops of your stitches, and this is what we look at when we want to work our next row. So we're now going to turn it, because we're now going to work back in the other direction. So we're going to be using the back loops for row 2. When you look at your stitches, you've got 2 loops. There's one and there's the other one. So when we talk about back loops, that's this one here, the one that's furthest away from me. These ones are your front loops and these are your back loops. So we're going to work into the back loops. Okay, so let's crack on with row 2. Start with 1 chain for our height. Now with the first stitch we are going to go through both loops of our double crochet. So the very first stitch we go under both loops to make 1 DC. Now we're going to use the back loops, so it's this one here. So we're going to insert a hook down the middle of the stitch and under the back loop, and we're going to do that in the next 4 double crochets. So using back loops, DC in the next 4 stitches. 4, and then on the last stitch, this one here, we're going to go back under both loops. So we still have 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For the first and last we go through both loops, so the stitch and the 4 in the middle we go through the back loop, and you can see that it creates a ridge. This is how we make a rib in crochet. We use our back loops. So now we're going to turn again, and we are going to repeat row 2, and we're going to do this until we get to row 13, till we finish row 13. So with 1 chain, insert a hook through both loops of the first stitch. Using the back loops we go double crochet into the next 4, and in the last stitch we go under both loops, row 3, and then turn. And it's quite easy to count the rows with the yarn this big. So we know that this was row 1, the dip there is row 2, this is row 3. So continue this until you have finished row 13. You can pause the video and we will come back for the next step when you've got 13 rows. So let's see if we have 13 rows. So this is row 1. The row here that's sticking up is row 2. Row 3 is in this dip here. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Brilliant. We have 13 rows, which means that we can now look at our next instructions after we've turned our work. So we turn it over. We are going to fold this so that the two ends meet, like so, and we are going to work through both layers to join this together. To do that, we are going to slip stitch. So first of all, we need a chain, because it just makes it easier. So we're going to work through both layers. So we're going to put our hook in the first stitch of the piece nearest us and the first stitch furthest away. This was our chain row. You can tell that because that's where the tail is, and you can see that where I've used the back bumps, I can still see what looks like stitches. So we're going to slip stitch those together. So hook through both layers, I'm going to pick up the yarn, bring it through all of the layers and through the hook one that I had on my hook. Okay, through all the layers, pick up the yarn and draw it through everything. Oh, drop my loop, pick it back up. Now you should still have 6 stitches, so you should slip stitch 6 times. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what we've made now, the wrist part. So that goes on your wrist like so. So it's a nice wide cuff, covers your wrists up, and it brings the glove up to your hand. So now we're going to start making the main body of the hand, this part. So we're now working on rounds, not rows, and round 14. So we're going to be working around this section. We're going to put 1 double crochet in each row end. Now row end are these bits. Got 1 there. They're quite easy to identify because it's big and chunky. So we'll go in this hole, then this one, then this one, all the way around the top. So we start with 1 chain. Okay, so our first one, first double crochet, is going to go in where we've slip stitched. 1, 2, so we're working around the row ends. When you get to this point, you may wonder whether you've got to put one more in. If you're not sure, just count the ones that you have got. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 14. So this is your last row end. We now have 14 stitches as per the pattern, and we are slip stitching to our first double crochet, which is this stitch here. Slip stitch and turn. We're not working in a continuous spiral, we are turning, so we are going to go like this so that we can come back across this way. Round 15, this is where we're going to do the extended double crochet. So start by doing our 1 chain for our turning chain, and we're going to put an extended double crochet in each stitch. To make an extended double crochet, insert your hook into the stitch. You're going to yarn around your hook, you're going to bring it up to draw a loop, you're going to yarn around your hook and take it through that first loop, and then yarn around the hook and take it through the last 2. So let's show you that again. Insert your hook, pick up your yarn to draw up a loop, yarn round, take it through 1, yarn round, take it through 2. Now you'll notice I'm lifting my hook back up to the height of the stitches. This is because I don't want them to be tight. So I lift my hook up so that it's above that row. That way my stitches aren't tight. And just continue doing that all the way round row 15. We need to check that we still have 14 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got 15. I did not need to put that one in there, so we take it out. And we are slip stitching to the first extended double crochet, the first EDC. It's this one here, inside my hook, and slip stitch to close, and then we turn. So we've been going in this direction, we want to turn so that we can come back across where we've just worked. Okay, so let's carry on for round 16. This was my slip stitch to join, so I'm going to ignore this one, and again extended double crochet in each stitch, and you want 14 stitches. when you get to the end of the round, locate your first extended double crochet and slip stitch to join. Turn and do round 17. Now round 17 is a little bit different because this is where we are creating the space for the thumb. So first of all, we are going to extended double crochet in 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 stitches. Now we are going to make 3 chain. You don't want to make them too tight because this becomes the space to put your thumb into. So 3 chain, and then slip stitch to the first extended double crochet. There we go, just like that, and there is your thumb hole. Now if your chains are too tight, it will cut into this ridge here, so make those 3 chain loose. And now we're ready for round 18. So we're going to turn, and the first bit we're going to be doing is going over the chain that we made for our thumb hole. First of all, we need a 1 chain for our turning chain, and then we're going to make 4 extended double crochets around the chain. So to do this, we're going to insert our hook into the thumb hole, pick up our yarn to bring up the loop, going to yarn round and take it through the first loop, yarn round and pull it through the second. So we've got 1 there. We're going to repeat that 3 more times. And now the pattern tells us we need to make extended double crochets in the next 11 stitches. And we should have 15 stitches, so we shall count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I've done 16, so I can take that one out because I clearly don't need that one there. And actually, when I look back as to where I've taken it out, you can see that this was where I started. So yes, I didn't need to put one in there. And then we're going to slip stitch to our first extended double crochet, and then we can turn for round 19. One chain. Now when we look, this is our slip stitch where we joined the round, and that's our first stitch. So we're actually missing the first stitch of this round, and we go into the next one. So we're going to extended double crochet in that one, and then in each stitch to the end. And you should have 14 stitches. Then slip stitch to the very first one to close round 19. Then we're going to turn and chain one. This is round 20, and this is our last round. So when you look, this is your chain stitch, this is your slip stitch that joined the round, this is the first stitch, and we're going to put a double crochet in each stitch to the end. And when you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch to join, and as this is the end of our round and the end of our first glove, we can fasten off and take our tail through that first loop, give it a tug, and then you'll weave your ends in. So there we have one left glove. So now that we've made our left glove, we are going to make the right glove. And the right glove is the same as the left glove until we reach round 16. So we're going to make rows 1 to 13 for the cuff, and we'll also do round 14, 15 and 16 of the left glove. So go back and make that up to the end of round 16, and then join me back for the rest of the glove. So now that you've made the right glove up to the end of round 16, we're ready to continue on with the pattern instructions to make the right glove. So the first part of the right glove is exactly the same as what we did on the left glove. So now we're going to carry on with the last 3 rounds as per the pattern. We've come to the end of round 16, so we turn it. Our instructions for the start of round 17 is to make 4 chain. That's one chain, which is our turning chain, and we'll be slip stitching into that one at the end of the round, and then our 3 chain to create our thumb hole. We're going to miss the first 3 stitches, 1 2 3, and make an extended double crochet into the 4th one. And we've made our thumb hole. And now we're going to do an extended double crochet in the next 10 stitches. And this time we are going to slip stitch into our first chain, so the first chain we made, which is this one here, and then turn for round 18. We make 1 chain for our turning chain. We're going to ignore this stitch, that was the slip stitch, and this is our first stitch, and we are going to work an extended double crochet in the first 11 stitches, we're going to make 4 extended double crochets over the chain, and slip stitch to the first double crochet. End of round 18, turn, round 19, 1 chain, we skip over the slip stitch, we miss the first stitch, and we extended double crochet into the second stitch, and then extended double crochet in each stitch round. Oops. And slip stitch to the first, turn, and for the final round we're just going to double crochet in each stitch around. So remember your 1 chain for turning, remember that this is our slip stitch, we're going into this one, and double crochet. When you've got your 4 double crochet, slip stitch to the first one to close the round, and then we're going to fasten off. Fasten off, and then weave in our ends. And now we're ready to sew in the ends. Because this is super chunky or extra chunky, it's usually a good idea to get yourself a tapestry needle for darning the ends in, something with a really big eye and blunt ended. So this is one that I have got from Hooked. I believe they call it a bodkin, and this is great for weaving in such chunky ends. So all we're going to do, going to pass our thread through the big chunky eye, and we're going to weave in on the inside. So at the moment we're looking at the outside, but we want to take our thread through the inside. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is turn this inside out, find the tail that I want to weave in, and we're going to pass the tail through the stitches using the loops that we've got. So you'll see me here, I'm going down the middle of a stitch and passing my needle through the loops. So I'll go in one direction, I'm going to bring it back, passing it under these loops to bring it back in the other direction. When it gets a bit short, you can actually, because this end is blunt as well, we can actually pass it that way through the stitch. And then we're just going to trim off the excess. So we'll give it a little tug, trim close, and then it's hidden and you can't see it. And we're going to do that with all the other tails. And as you can see, you don't get a lot of yarn left from one ball of the Seriously Chunky. So in my mind, I think that's actually a really useful project. Not a lot of wastage left over, and if you collect your yarn scraps like this, you can use them as stuffing in small toys and amigurumi. And now we have a lovely pair of chunky warm mittens for keeping us warm, keeping our wrists warm in this cold time. I hope you've enjoyed this pattern, and I look forward to seeing your feedback below. Please click the subscribe button somewhere over here or over here, and when you subscribe, please click the bell for notifications. You can follow us on patreon.com/Unravel and Unwind. I'll put the description in the links below, and I look forward to seeing you with our next video pattern. Thank you very much.